Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another Love and Action Daily Boost program. I'm Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your days. And it is a thrill to be able to share my love and joy with you through the internet today. I'm so appreciative that you stopped by. If you've been with us for the last few years, you'll know that we use the 7-day pillar challenge using the 7 chakra system to power us through our weeks and to empower the collective. And of course, yesterday was Root Chakra Day, and today we rise into our sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is the seat of creative power, emotional flow, and sacred pleasure. And so many of us in our lives desire and have pleasure. It's the second chakra, as I mentioned earlier. It is the place where we govern our emotions, our sensuality, our creativity, our relationships, and our capacity for joy. Associated with the element of water and the color orange, the sacral chakra invites us into fluidity, emotional intelligence, and a co-creation with the loved and lovable universe. And when we are inspired in our sacral chakra, our desire becomes action. And don't we all want our desires to become action? This week's theme in Love and Action Network is leading with love. We are discussing all week compassionate leadership, what it means to lead a community, or even lead our hearts from a place of compassion. And here are some questions to help us reflect on the sacral chakra. But before that, I pulled up some fun facts with the sacral chakra wisdom. For those of you who celebrate today, August 11th, is Play in the Sand Day. The sacral chakra thrives on sensory play, and the grainy texture of sand, the splash of water, and the joy of building something whimsical will awaken your creative flow. The world's largest sandcastle was nearly 18 feet tall in Germany in 2019, and it's a monument to what happens when childlike joy meets artistic vision. It's also National Raspberry Bombay Day. This is a sweet, tart, and creamy dessert that engages the sacral chakra's love of sensual pleasure and balance. In French, Bombay glacé means ice bomb. It's a delightful reminder that indulgence in beautiful flavors can be an act of self-love when savored mindfully. Easy on the sugar, everybody. It's also Mountain Day in Japan. Mountains may seem more root chakra at the first glance, but climbing them mirrors the sacral chakra's need for emotional movement and flow. The tradition, observed first in 2016, invites us to explore new vistas, literally and emotionally, embracing the rising and the falling energy of our lives. And here's a bonus quirk. It's National Presidential Joke Day. Humor is potent in the sacral chakra. It breaks tension, fosters connection, and reminds us not to take ourselves so seriously and not to take life so seriously. So Jay Leno in 1987 did a political quip on his show, and it shifted his career. And just recognize today that laughter can open creative pathways and new opportunities in our own lives. Have you laughed today? Have you laughed today? That's part of our pleasure. Here are the questions now that will help us go deeper in our compassion and leadership. How do you encourage creativity and innovation within your team or your circle? In what ways do you nurture positive, respectful relationships with those who you lead? How do you balance your leadership vision with input of others? Do you allow people to give you input? Do you take advice? Hi, Tara. Welcome your loved and lovable wholeness. What role does joy play in the way that you lead? How do you create an environment where people feel free to express ideas without fear? Oh my goodness. So many people are working jobs or in family dynamics where they have ideas that they think could make the situation better, but they're afraid of expressing that idea because they're afraid of making their boss or their lover look small. So, as leaders, it's important that we create environments where people can express their ideas. Sure, we may take your idea, we may not take your idea, but you should be able to say how you feel without fear. In today's operations meeting in Love and Action Network, I asked the team, how are y'all feeling? And by y'all, Tara, how are you feeling about your work here? And people should be able to talk about that without fear. What partnerships have strengthened your leadership and why? Are you finding strength in your partnerships? And I would say if you've got a romantic partner or a professional partner or a sojourner through life with you, through the ups and downs, try to find strength in those partnerships. It's important. How do you resolve conflicts in a way that strengthens relationships rather than damages them? How do you resolve conflicts in a way that strengthens relationships rather than damages them? How do you model openness to change and adaptation? Are you a person who doesn't like change or has an unwillingness to adapt? How can you become more open today? And remember, the heart and our energies have two settings, many other settings, but they're two main settings of the heart. And we're going to talk about the heart on Wednesday in the heart chakra. But this question made me think about it. Is your heart today open or closed? Is your mind open or closed? You'd be you'd be surprised how many people I encounter who want new things, they want great sex, great food, and great adventures, but they're not truly open to it. And I'm like, how in the world are the great sex, great food, and great adventures going to get to you if you're not truly open? You have to be open to change and adapting in order to allow your good to find you. Love is change. God is change. It is good to change. Don't be afraid. I also engage people who have been the same for so many years. They're afraid of having to reintroduce themselves to people. I said yesterday in my soul work that we're always coming out. Coming out in life is not something just relegated to LGBTQIA people. Straight people have to come out too. All humans have to come out of the closet, especially if you grew up in a rigid family dynamic or you grew up in a controlling environment. Okay. Come out wherever you are. Thank you, Charlie. Do you have the courage today to be open enough to say, I am, and then fill in the blank? I am loved and lovable. I am worthy. I am good enough to receive good things in my life. And when you come out in these ways, just like LGBTQIA people or any other group, you're going to be looked at by people as, oh my God, like, why would you want to be in that particular kind of freedom? Well, this is my life. I only have one life, and I want to be open to all of the expression. and goodness to come out of me in my life. We are totally worthy of it. Totally worthy of it. Two more questions and then I'll let y'all go. In what ways do I encourage collaboration instead of competition? Ooh. In what ways do I encourage collaboration instead of competition? We know that comparison is the thief of joy. And if you're like me, I have nothing to prove, protect, hide, or defend. I used to. I used to feel like I had a lot to prove and protect and hide from people and defend. But these days, I'm not competing with anybody other than yesterday's version of me. A lot of people are walking around in life very exhausted by life. Uh, Go on. We have someone over in the TikTok audience, y'all, named Charlie Justin, who says that competition builds character. Tell me more about that. Why do you feel that way? What does competition do to build character? Do you think that you need competition to build character? Or is that something that gets you going? I'm going to ask the AI, why would someone think that competition builds character? Great insight. Ah, many people believe that competition plays a vital role in building character because it provides opportunities to develop and demonstrate important personal qualities. Here are some of the key reasons why people hold this belief. Because it promotes perseverance and resilience, it develops self control and discipline, it encourages teamwork and cooperation in team competitions, it teaches sportsmanship and fair play, it fosters leadership skills, it motivates individuals to improve, and it creates opportunities for social interaction and building connections. So, yes, those are the positive elements of what it means to build in competition. Unfortunately, a great many people are not using competition that way. A lot of people are using competition and comparison to degrade themselves. Have you ever met somebody? Because I'm not competitive. I like to win personally in my life, but I'm not competitive. But have you ever met somebody who gets so discouraged by competition that they don't even try at all? I think that happens a lot in our society. There are people, many on TikTok, who love to say, let's battle, let's compete. But there are some of us who aren't interested in competing at all. And then, even worse, there are people who will say things like, why bother? Why bother competing? I'm just not going to try today. So, it really is how you view competition and comparison that can either fuel you or discourage you. So, I don't do it. My race is my own. And in what ways do you encourage collaboration instead of competition? Are you strong enough and big enough to join with people for the purposes of uplifting? Last question. How do I celebrate shared wins to build collective motivation? How do I celebrate shared wins to build collective motivation? Every time that we come together for love, we win. And in our own special way in Love and Action Network, whether it's on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or wherever we platform, we celebrate the coming together of people who want to recognize that they are loved and lovable. There's something that I teach every day in the network. It's this idea that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're always going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your life. And there's nobody in the room or nobody who will listen to the replay or the podcast or the TV show later that we're recording that's going to be able to change that. Once you truly know down deep for yourself that you're loved and lovable, you become unfuckwithable. In the words of Sheree on Housewives of Atlanta, who gonna check me, boo? Now that I know that I am truly in my I am and tapped into how I feel, today is Sacral Chakra Day. All day on Monday, we focus on how we feel. And there's one last thing that I want to share before I go. I forgot that I pulled this resource. If you go to the website, lovedandlovable.bio.link, 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 and you scroll to the bottom of the page, you're going to see our resource pages. And if you click on the resource pages and you click to random additional resources, and you scroll down to the bottom of that, you're going to see something that I have placed there, all about attachment styles. Now, you may not know what attachment styles are, so let's ask the internet. Attachment styles are patterns of relating to others, particularly in close relationships that develop in early childhood and influence how individuals experience and navigate relationships throughout their lives. And if you're in the public space, as I am on social media daily, and I interact with the public as a coach and mentor, you will see these pop up everywhere, especially on TikTok, where I'm co streaming right now. The ways in which people bond with others, manage emotions, and seek closeness or distance in their interactions, woo, very present all the time. There are people who are anxious, preoccupied. There are people who are dismissive and avoidant. There are people who are fearful, avoidant. And there are people who are secure in their attachments. I'll go down that list one more time before we go. There are people who are anxious, preoccupied. That's how they attach and bond with people, in a very anxious, preoccupied way. There are people, you met these assholes, they are dismissive and avoidant in the ways in which they bond with people and manage their emotions. There are also people who are fearful avoidant. These are the people who come through the TikTok or come through my lives and they're like, oh my God, Dr. Flo might see me. He might call me out. He may say something to me. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't be seen in that way. These are people who are over on an app called Clubhouse. And they are anonymous in the audience. These are people who like to go on certain social media platforms and they like to be there because it doesn't announce them. There are people on TikTok who are fearful avoidant, but most of them are dismissive avoidant, meaning it's kind of like oh, I don't want to deal with this guy. Let me just swipe off. Dismissed, 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 dismissed. He's saying I'm loved and lovable. He's teaching a message of hope. Dismissed, dismissed. That is an attachment style. And it works very well in these spaces, depending on the person. And then some people are anxious, preoccupied. They allow their 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts to really beat them like a pinata every day. And then there are those who are secure in who they are and in their attachments, and they're able to just interface with anyone and everyone. Anyway, I'm not going to break down. Uh, well, yes, let's do it since we're here because this is something new that I've known for years, but I've not quite taught it online. And I can take 10 minutes to do it and then we'll move on with our lives. I had dinner, so I'm good. If you have a secure attachment style, you are an individual that generally has a positive view of yourself and others. You're comfortable with intimacy and independence, and you can effectively manage your emotions and relationships. Congratulations. You are secure as an attachment style. If you're anxious and preoccupied, this style is characterized by a strong desire for closeness and intimacy, often accompanied by a fear of abandonment and a tendency to worry about the relationship. The relationship is going to fall apart. It's making me anxious. And individuals with this style may be overly reliant on their partner for emotional validation and reassurance. Dismissive avoidant people tend to downplay the importance of relationships and they prioritize. Sorry, at a moment. At a moment. I used to be like this. I used to be like this. They tend to downplay the importance of relationships and they prioritize independence. This is a dismissive avoidant. I don't need nobody. I can get it all done on myself, by myself, and I can't stand people. Someone just left. Dismissive avoidant. TikTok is full of them. They may be uncomfortable with intimacy, suppress their emotions, and have a difficulty relying on others. And I really had to work through this one, y'all, especially as I became a donation based spiritual teacher and healer and coach and mentor and counselor. Man, you know, all of the money I made today came from friends and clients who are friends. And, but I used to have a problem with it because I had a difficulty relying on others as a dismissive, avoidant attachment style. Get into it. The last one is a fearful avoidant. This style combines both anxious and avoidant attachment. Individuals with fearful avoidant style desire close relationships. They love having close, intimate relationships, but they also fear intimacy and rejection. And there isn't a single person under the sound of my voice today, either on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube. I said YouTube already. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this live or coming back later to partake in the magic of flow, there isn't a single person who is not afraid of being rejected. A lot of people don't go live on the internet or they don't reach out for the opportunities that are available to them because they're afraid of the intimacy of an interview or connecting with another human, and they're afraid of being rejected. Some people are going to die alone, and they're sexy people. They're good looking, or even if they aren't traditionally beautiful, they got a beautiful energy about them. If only they would trust themselves, and they're afraid of that intimacy, and they're definitely afraid of being rejected. Makes me think about the entrepreneurs that I coach who aren't reaching out for all of the opportunities that they could because what if someone tells them no? You can't get to great sex, great food, and great adventures in your life if you're afraid of being rejected. These fearful avoidant people also struggle with trust and have a difficulty expressing their needs. Whew. Whew. So, If you go back to our website and scroll to the bottom and go to more resources, you may have to dig a bit. People complain all the time with me about how our website has so many buttons and so many things going on. Well, guess what? I don't have enough time in this life in order to get everything done that I want to get done. I have so many dreams, it's going to take multiple lifetimes to fulfill my dreams. If my website was as big as all of my lifetimes of dreams, you'd be on it for days. Stand back and watch love. Okay? So, on this little graphic we have here, we've got anxious, avoidant, and disorganized, insecure attachment. So if you are experiencing, and the only reason why I talk about these things online is not to make you feel bad or not to weaken you or to make you feel awful. I don't want anybody to feel awful, and I'm certainly not better than anyone. I'm not better than anyone. My poop smells awful. Okay? It smells so awful. You have to light an incense and a candle and everything else. The only reason why I talk about these things out loud is because you may be experiencing this, but have you ever met someone where they're like, I don't feel good, Dr. Flo. I don't feel like myself, Dr. Flo, but I can't quite put my finger on why I feel this way. Or you ask people, well, how do you feel? And they go, "Mm, uh, 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 I don't know. I just speak these things out loud to give you words for what may be going on for you. Many of you I don't know. Many of you I don't talk to daily. Many of you come through TikTok or Facebook or YouTube, and we've never truly connected in a deep and meaningful way, but you might be experiencing these things, and it may help you express your needs to those who truly love you. And I believe that everybody is loved and lovable. Been lit shishi. I cannot accept your request to host right now, even though you've been lit shishi. I cannot accept that because I'm teaching on a live for about 5 minutes more. If I had truly known all of my life that I'm loved and lovable, and more importantly, if I'd had the words to express my needs and my feelings, I would not have suffered as much. If only I'd had the words. So I spend a lot of my time in life trying to help people find the words for the feelings so they can express their needs to have a happy, healthy, and free life. Sincerely. Sincerely. So, if you're out there and you're dealing with an anxious, insecure attachment, here's what it feels like and sounds like and looks like. It's a need for reassurance. And this graph is on the website, by the way. It's a need for reassurance. You may constantly need validation. You may be clingy or overly dependent. Maybe your insecure, anxious attachment has something to do with fear. You're afraid of being abandoned. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of being unloved. That will give you insecure, anxious attachment. Maybe you have low self esteem because of the insecure anxiety. That looks like negative self talk, feeling inadequate, and having poor boundaries as it relates to people. Last one in that category. If you are insecure, anxious in your attachment, you overreact to a perceived threat. Oh my goodness. I meet people like this all the time who think everybody's out to get them. Jealous, suspicious, overanalyzing. Those are anxious, insecure attachment personalities. Let's talk about avoidant, insecure people. They withdraw. They're untrusting, they're distant, and they're unavailable. They may also deny the need for closeness. Avoidant, insecure, attached people uh, will deny closeness. It looks like coping alone, avoiding conflict, and suppressing emotions. There's more on the chart, but I can't do it all today and be in time. Let's talk about disorganized insecure attachment. These are people who are dysregulated, inconsistent in their parenting, and have intense anxiety and depression. It looks like unpredictable behavior, they're chaotic and unstable, and they have very intense anger. If you know of someone in your life that's always mad at the world or mad at other people, and I'm sure you're encountering people who are in intense anger because I see them all over the internet. Go on X or Threads. You'll see people in intense anger. That unpredictable behavior is a form of disorganized, insecure attachment. Once again, I'm not naming this because I want anybody to feel like a bad person. I think it's important that you have language for your feelings so you can properly express your needs to people to have a happy life. People with disorganized, insecure attachment also crave and fear intimacy at the same time. Imagine craving being close to a person, but also being scared of it. Happens every day on TikTok. People want to be loved, but they fear it. They can't share their feelings. They're uncomfortable with closeness. It's very confusing, and they push others away. Push and pull behavior. If you're a person who feels this push and pulled behavior from others, very confusing. Disorganized, insecure attachment style. All right. I wasn't going to leave you on the uncomfortable side of the emotions today. There are people in this life who are having a great day. I'm one of them because I have secure attachment styles. Once again, I'm not better than you. I'm just working on this every day. And it's not easy, but I'm doing the best that I can. People with secure attachment styles are comfortable with intimacy. They are able to foster long term relationships that are healthy. They can be close to people. They can communicate effectively while listening and expressing their needs clearly, and they're calm and open. They may also seek comfort. They're able to ask for help. They're mutually dependent on people and they receive well. Oh, how awesome is that? They're also assertive, direct, honest, and they stand up for themselves. They are pro-social. When I say pro-social, I'm meaning that there's no unnecessary conflict. They understand consequences for their behaviors, and they're very helpful. Lastly, and I could not cover all of the chart, but you can go to my website for free and see this chart, screenshot it, and start to have conversations with yourself and people that you trust about insecure and secure attachment styles: anxious, avoidant, disorganized, and secure. And when you are secure in your attachment style, you'll be respectful, emotionally aware, you'll be able to understand others' views, and you'll be considerate. And you may see that you're not as bad off, even though no one can be good or bad, right? but you may not be as far off from healing and a positive emotional state as you think. Well, I didn't expect to go off and talk about secure and insecure attachment styles, and I certainly didn't expect to cry about it, but it's not a day in Love and Action Network if Dr. Flo isn't crying about some form of healing. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for holding space for love. On behalf of our production team, Poppy Water 33, Tara Praolo Studio, and myself, Andre and the Flow, we invite you always to come into love. Some of us really want to heal before our time is over on the planet, and you're always invited to stay in your power, stay in your joy, and stay loved and lovable. We'll see you very soon.